When it comes to buying the right products, there's a lot to look out for. That's why today, we've picked and reviewed the 5 best models for you. And we've ranked them by many different factors, such as price, quality, durability, performance, and more. You can see their prices and find out more information by using the links in the description down below. Let's not waste any more time and get started with the video. We are going to start this list with the best budget option that you can get your hands on.
Number 5. Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1. Samsung is on top of the smartphone industry for a long time now, and it's used its prowess in that industry to deliver equally excellent tablets. And one of their most notable ones has been the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1, which also makes it as one of the best tablets for children. But it can be used by parents as well to deliver the best experience. So let's take a closer look. In the design department, the Samsung Galaxy Tab A 10.1 has not changed a bit from its predecessor, except the screen size, which is significant here. The Samsung logo is removed from the front as well, and now you won't see the physical home button, but overall the design is very practical, sleek and attractive, and it's just 8mm thick at its thickest. It rocks Corning's Gorilla Glass 4 on the front for protection, and the back part is made out of ruggedized plastic that feels of the highest quality and also gives it amazing looks. It's an excellent one for holding in hand, and children will love it, while I'd suggest you invest in a protective case though. On the front of the device, you'll spot the 10.1-inch in-plane switching panel with a full HD resolution of 1920 by 1200, which to be exact is a little more than full HD. It has a comfortable aspect ratio of 16:10, which is good, and it has good brightness of 430 nits at peak, and the contrast ratio is also excellent at 1000:1. The colour reproduction is excellent, as in every Samsung device, and it's also pretty accurate at that, achieving 99% of the sRGB colour space. In terms of performance, this beast is packed with Samsung's homegrown Exynos 7904 CPU, which is pretty fast, and also takes help from 2GB of RAM and 64GB of storage, which can be upgraded to 512GB via a micro SD card. The battery life of the device is also excellent, as it's packed with a 6150 mAh battery that delivers great performance and durability.
Next up, we have a model which gives you the best value for your money.
Number 4. Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite. One of my favourite things about Samsung's tablet, which is the cheaper version of the high-end Tab S6 from 2019, is its size. You get a 10.4-inch screen which is large enough to comfortably watch movies on, and because the uniform bezels around the screen are fairly thin, the whole package is quite compact. It can easily fit in any small bag, and at around £1, it's super light. It has an LCD screen, which is a bit unusual for Samsung, as you'll more often than not see AMOLED panels on all their displays. The latter offers nicer colours and better contrast because black levels are as dark as night, but there's not much to complain about with the cheaper LCD. The 2000 by 1200 pixel screen resolution is plenty sharp, and the colours look vibrant. Even while using it on a sunny and hot day out on my balcony, I didn't have to squint too much to see the screen. Complementing the nice screen is a pair of AKG tuned speakers with Dolby Atmos support, and suffice to say, they sound impressive for their size. In our streaming video test, the S6 Lite ran for 11 hours 17 minutes with the display brightness set to 50%, and the audio played through earbuds with the volume set to 50%. These aspects make the Tab S6 Lite a great second screen to have in the house, and a perfect choice for tasks suited to bigger screens like reading a book or following along with a recipe in the kitchen. In the end, with the Samsung Galaxy Tab S6 Lite, you're getting an all-round tablet that's good for both entertainment and productivity. It might not replace a laptop like the Tab S6 attempts to, but you can easily use it for your classes, commuting and more, especially if you're ready to pick up the pen.
If you're looking for a mid-range model, then this next pick is a great option.
Number 3. Apple iPad 8th generation. When it comes to dedicated tablet devices, there's the iPad and there's everything else. The performance, features and app ecosystem of Apple's iPad line make it the tablet to own. The new 8th generation iPad is still the best tablet you can buy for the price, but it's hard not to be disappointed by such a small upgrade. The basic iPad has been the good enough iPad forever, while the Pro and Air have offered fancier features and better performance. This year, the iPad Air is getting a major revamp with a new processor, big display and USB-C, making it look much like an iPad Pro for less. It runs rings around everything else at this price point and copes with even the most ambitious iPad apps and games. Time's moved on since 2019, but A12 aside, this iPad hasn't. The bezels are chunky and the screen's bright, but lacks True Tone and an anti-reflective coating, turning it into a mirror in the sun. Both speakers are on the bottom edge. They're easy to muffle when holding the iPad, and sounds blare out of one side when the tablet's in landscape. The rear camera's okay, an 8-megapixel wide snapper capable of 1080p HD video at 30 FPS, but the front one only manages 1.2 megapixel photos and 720p HD video. You won't be shooting fancy selfies with this tablet. Elsewhere, Touch ID works well, there's a headphone port, the lightning connector will make you sigh and wish for USB-C, and the default 32GB of storage that felt tight last year now reeks of upsell. For tapping out words, you'll need a keyboard. Any Bluetooth one will do, but something designed for iPad is better. Probably avoid Apple's depicted smart keyboard for iPad. Its smart connector and magnet wizardry make setup fast, but there's only one viewing angle, and you'll need a trackpad unless you love RSI. Whether you want a tablet for school or fancy using one for creativity and work, you should check out this one.
Before we talk about the best model overall, let's look at the runner-up for this list.
Number 2. Apple iPad Air 3rd Gen. The iPad Air 3 has serious horsepower hidden behind its laminated screen and uses Apple's excellent smart keyboard for proper 2-in-1 productivity. Its traditional design and first-gen Apple Pencil compatibility make it look dated, but it doubles the performance of the entry-level iPad 9.7. The Air Revival is a potential back-to-school winner this year. The iPad Air 3 is bigger than the 9.7-inch Air 2, though Apple didn't quite take it to 11 like the 2018 Pro, but it gets pretty close, 10.5 inches, just like the 2017 Pro. So yeah, it's not quite as portable as the previous model, less a graphic novel and more a D&D companion volume, but it does allow for that full-sized on-screen keyboard and original smart keyboard Apple introduced a couple of years ago, alongside the 10.5-inch iPad Pro. They brought back a lot of the squared-off iPhone 4 and iPhone 5 design language, as well as make something retro, modern and all shades of cool. With bezels that were shoved so far back the home button popped off, and an overall look that made all the older iPads instantly look older. So to have new iPads come out with that old design language can seem a bit strange. Apple is saving the fancier features for the iPads with the fancier price tags. That includes the 4 speakers that adjust the sound with the iPad orientation. With the new 10.5-inch iPad Air 3, the lamination is back as well as the anti-glare coating, so it's about as non-reflective as an iPad can get. Note the front camera, which is a new 7-megapixel 1080p model that might not be true depth like the Pro, which means no Animoji or Memoji, but it is still great for selfies, groupies, FaceTime and FaceTime groups. But the rear camera is stuck at 8 megapixels f2.4 and 1080p. It just feels so yesterday. Like I said before, the A12 image signal processor tied into the neural engine mitigates that somewhat thanks to smart HDR and all the other near real-time processing it does, but it's always going to be limited by the glass. It doubles the performance of the iPad 9.7 and keeps up with some of the best laptops. It doesn't quite get to new iPad Pro levels, but the speed and price make it a good value, and it really is a great choice for students.
Next up, we had the highest end model that you can get your hands on. It costs more than the rest, but it does do its job extremely well.
Number 1. Apple iPad Pro 2nd Gen. The iPad Pro is the tablet equivalent of a gaming laptop. It's incredibly powerful, undeniably fast, and a visual treat every time you turn on the noticeably improved screen. iOS 12 gives it a few multitasking powers. It's big to carry around every day and rather expensive compared to the more mainstream iPad Pro 10.5 that has the same specs. The tablet Apple claims can replace a PC laptop is finally living up to that promise. Usually with a new iPad there's one new feature that stands out, but this time around there are several such features as Apple overhauls its most powerful and most expensive tablet. The first thing that'll grab the attention of anyone picking up the iPad Pro is the screen, as it's stretched closer to the edges of the device, with the formerly thick bezels reduced in width. The vivid colours, smooth scrolling and amazing brightness in the iPad Pro screen make it probably the best panel I've seen in a product to date. That's not to say it's a bad screen in any way. Apple's True Tone technology and the 120Hz refresh rate both really do add something to the quality of the experience, while HDR content is rich in detail. Speaking of HDR though, while the iPad Pro 11 will indeed play HDR content, it outputs said content in EDR, Extended Dynamic Range, which offers the color range but not the brightness of true HDR. The front-facing True Depth camera enables Face ID, the world's most secure facial authentication in a tablet and in a computer. It also means you can chat with friends using FaceTime, take portrait selfies, or liven up your messages conversations by turning yourself into an Animoji. With the A12Z Bionic chip, iPad Pro is so fast it outpaces most PC laptops available today, and the 8-core graphics processor means even more performance and realism for the apps and games where it matters most. iPad Pro is incredibly capable while still being easy to carry with you everywhere. Slip it into a backpack or rest it on a tray table. And it has up to 10 hours of battery life to keep you going all day. Buying guide. Firstly, display. Since the display is also the main interface on a tablet PC, it plays an important role in your buying decision. Factors to consider include size, resolution, viewing angle, brightness, and coating. The size determines how big the tablet will be, but when tied to resolution, it determines how easy or difficult it is to read text on the device. The resolution matters if you're trying to watch Full HD 1080p media on the device. A minimum of 720 lines or 720p is required in a portrait orientation. Viewing angles are important when the device is being viewed by more than one person or at odd angles. Secondly, connectivity. As tablets are mobile devices, their ability to connect to the internet is critical. There are two types of connectivity to be found in tablets: Wi-Fi and cellular or wireless. Wi-Fi is pretty straightforward, as this is for access to local Wi-Fi networks. What matters here is which forms of Wi-Fi the tablet supports. Any tablet should support 802.11n. The best option is to support both 2.4 GHz and 5 GHz radio bands. And thirdly, battery life. Since many people will likely carry their tablet throughout the day, battery life is an important detail. This spec is hard to judge for tablets as different applications can draw different power loads. There are two standard methods for measuring battery life. The first is through consistent web browsing, while the other is based on watching video. Video watching tends to draw a bit more power. Good running time should be at least 8 hours of web browsing or video playback.
Thanks for watching. I hope you liked the video. If you found it helpful, please remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel to see more videos like this in the future. If you have any questions related to these products, you can leave a comment below and I'll get back to you as soon as I can.